Hi, Bianca.
Hi, hi Anna.
How are you?
Very good. I'm fine. I'm enjoying my time.
Good. Thank you for being on Beyond the Dance Floor. It's a great pleasure having you here, and I'm really looking forward to our talk.
Thank you very much. A pleasure for me. Hello, everybody.
So, I would like to know where you are, how you're dealing with the coronavirus situation, and how do you feel generally about it?
Well, since 2 years, I'm living in Spain, near Malaga. And actually, I don't feel much around because in Andalusia, it's not a lot of cases here. And we have a lot of space, so it's okay. We are at home since I think 7 or 8 weeks already, which is okay because I'm with my family, and we have a lot of space. Living at the golf course, we can go out.
Perfect.
So it's not so bad for us.
Okay, good. And so you feel quite not necessarily positive, but not negative about the situation then, because you're in good conditions, kind of, yeah?
Yeah, because for me, the whole situation is very interesting. I'm really curious where we are getting. I think it's an important time to find out what is right, what is wrong, and who we believe and stuff like this. In the end, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely food for thought. A lot of information out there. You have to somehow filter it. You have to decide what you believe in, and probably it also changes a little bit as you go along the way, kind of, right? Yeah.
Yes. Also
Okay.
for me.
So I would like to ask you, starting from the beginning of your dance career, basically how you started, why you started to dance. Tell me a little bit about your partners and how did you eventually ended up with Hans?
Okay, I actually started quite late competition dancing when I was 15. And basically I went to dance school like in Germany, everybody does around 14, 13, 14, which I did as well. And from there, quite quickly, the teacher told me that I have a talent somehow. And I don't know, I just loved dancing. And in the end, I was dancing like every day. And when I was about let's say 15, 16, I had my first partner. And I already actually was working in the dance studio. I was teaching already.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how I got there. There was no teacher, and the teacher asked me if I could teach. So somehow, and it's something that happened to me in my life more often because before I was a gymnast.
Okay.
And 1 year I was learning, and then the teacher said I have to teach because there's no teacher. Somehow it always comes to me. So then, yes, I had one partner. I went with him to like the highest class in Germany because I was with him maybe for 2 or 3 years. And then I had a second partner only for half a year. And then on the German 10 dance championship, I saw Hans. That was it. I wanted Hans because short after, he separated with his partner, Margit Ruprecht. And yeah, in that time, my teacher, Eugen Fritz and Ute Streicher, was my first teachers, and also the dance school I was. They were dancing competition as well, and they had Nina Hunt in their house. So and I knew that Nina Hunt was also in contact with Hans. So we kind of influenced her to talk to Hans.
I see. Okay.
And then I just went there to Bavaria in my dirndl, you know. I especially bought a dirndl to impress Hans because he was already number 3 in Germany and I was number 10 or something like this. So, and then I went to Hans and actually his brother, he recommended Hans to dance with me.
Okay.
Because Hans wasn't sure about it. So.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we came together, and that was when I was 18. So it went very quickly.
And the rest is history. So tell me about, of course, you had a very successful partnership. And I believe that whenever you have a successful partnership, both parts are probably equally participant in that. So tell me how do you see your role in your partnership with Hans?
Yeah, I think it's like in every good partnership, there is parts, they are the same, and there are parts, they are very different. Yes, like I always show this picture. Yeah? There's, if you have two circles, there is a part the same and a lot of is different, and then we help each other. And I think in the beginning, I was the one who was very strict. You know, I wanted to know everything about the technique, sometimes too much. And I think Hans was the opposite. So he was quite free and not so interested in technique. But yeah, both together, I think we found a good balance in that sense.
But how did you, in a way, work together when you were so different and had such different interests in a way in a dance? Did you have a lot of conflict? Did you feel that you had to, in a way, almost push him to be interested in what you are interested in and vice versa? Or was it quite a natural and easy communication process, let's say?
Well, in the first years, it was really easy because we had the same idea. We were the same kind of lazy, where we were not the biggest practicer. So that was quite okay. Of course, it became more difficult when you come into regions where the people expect you to be in the final or to win or something like this. Of course, then the pressure gets bigger. And also towards the end of the career, we had the feeling that we have a little bit different priorities. But it was never that bad, you know, that we were fighting like crazy. Of course we were crazy half a year before the World Championship, of course, it's fears and stuff like this, but generally we were quite okay, I guess.
Okay, so can you tell me more a little bit this that you just mentioned, that you went a little bit different ways or had different priorities at the end? Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, it's like I said before, my priorities were more in the for me, the connection, of course, everybody knows, was very important. And the men, normally they feel like they want to be free. I couldn't make clear that I think freedom comes through a good technique, you know, and we just had a little bit different perception of what is important, how much technique is important, how much freedom is important. And so in the end, we needed like somebody who was
deciding for you almost, or like
and supervising also the last 9 months. We had somebody in our training all the time because we just couldn't do it anymore, like knowing that the Worlds is in Germany and we had to win it, and this was not such an easy time.
Interesting. So tell me about that. How did it feel? Of course, like you mentioned, it was a lot of stress, it was a lot of pressure on yourself, also probably from other people, from your teachers, which had expectations, from yourselves. Did you plan that you will retire after this, or how did it all come together, and how did you deal with this pressure as well, apart from having a teacher in the lessons, of course?
Yes, well, we knew that there was this Worlds in Germany, and we had to do it somehow. And we actually did have a big fight 9 months before at the UK. And I wanted to stop and go home. And I was sure that's it. But now I'm happy. Then I wasn't. Hans was really trying to save this partnership, at least until the Worlds, which I'm now very happy. And we got together somehow again and said these 9 months we have to do somehow. For me, dancing was never the only thing in my life. I mean, it was my favorite. It still is. But yeah, I had something else. I had I'm with my husband now for 30 years. I was planning to have a family, and for me, dancing, was more a passion than a job, you know. So, and I knew that now I'm 32. If I want kids, I can't do it forever.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes.
Okay. Okay. So what do you think made you successful as a dancer personally yourself?
Well, this really, for many years, I didn't understand why I actually could win, because for all those girls who are not very confident, I want to say I was never very confident, because I always felt, how can I win? I mean, I saw all the other girls, everybody looked for me more beautiful, more thin, more, I don't know what, more elegant. So I couldn't see it for a long, long time. But now looking back, I think what I can see now is that it looked very natural.
Yeah.
It was not so much effort. And when I look at it now, I think it looks real. And I think that's what I'm looking for also when I'm judging.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. And I think rhythmic and being natural was one of my good things.
It's very interesting. I think that, like you say, that when you were competing or when you were dancing yourself, you didn't necessarily have a clear idea of what it was that was better about you than anyone else. So I think this is really interesting to hear as well, because I think many of us are struggling with this. You know, you always want to be better and strive for being better, and it can also be sometimes damaging, because you don't really feel confident enough. But it works, and clearly with you it was not an issue, because you could still win and perform and be a great dancer.
Yeah, we had a lot of help. I mean, I always had good friends, and we had good teachers. Through the difficult moments, you need somebody.
Yeah.
And then it's okay.
So tell me about the relationship with your teachers and who has influenced you. And do you feel that the relationship with your teachers was different at that time than it is, for example, for the couples nowadays? Or is it very similar?
Well, I think it's very different, because we had not many teachers. We had mainly, like in the beginning, I said Eugen Fritz and Ute Streicher, they were our first teachers in Germany, and they introduced us to international teachers. And then the main influence was Espen, because many years we had him every, let's say, 6 weeks.
Wow.
Every 6 weeks for 3 days, 6 lessons a day. So 18 lessons every 6 weeks. And in between we would practice. And then when we had a special problem or wanted to learn something new, inspiration, we would talk, and we would go to like a lesson with Mixelianos for a paso doble. And Espen didn't like jive. Then he introduced us to Colin and Line also. So we had very high quality teachers, very punctual, yes, but always in connection with Espen and our home teachers. So it was always, it was a system in the whole thing.
So do you feel it is very important to have someone like this for the couple, let's say a coach, let's call him, or a teacher, a coach, who you can come back to, and then he, she, whoever they are, can tell you too, so you need more of this, I'm not really interested, or I'm not able to give you this, so please go to someone else, and then you still have the communication about your work, basically, and it comes back home to someone.
Yes. Well, everybody is different. For me, I'm a very intuitive person. So if I feel something is right for me, then I decide it's right for me. And Espen was right for me from the beginning, because whatever question I had, he always had an answer to everything. Yes, and if he didn't, he would say. And for me, this was very authentic. So for me, it was clear that although there might be things I'm not doing, like Espen was teaching it, um, that's a good home. And if you have the right feeling for somebody that you can trust, and you dare to do it, but it's also a matter of you have to have the guts to trust one or two persons, whatever, because it's more in your responsibility then, because it's your decision whom you trust. I think that's the first step, that you find your own opinion about something, that you decide who is the one or the two.
Yeah, that's very true. And you actively actually search for someone that you can have that connection with, right? And not just it might
well
have
I think everything is
sorry.
I think everything is a matter of resonance, my energy is fitting with, for example, or was fitting with Espen's energy, so I think we meet somehow, and in that moment when you feel that that's the one, then you have to follow this instinct. Of course you could miss it.
Of course, you never know, but okay. So I would like to ask you about generally, you're not as often seen in the dance competitions or adjudicating or perhaps doing camps or, traveling around as maybe Hans, for example, even is, and generally it's not that often. So is it your own decision? Is it just a matter of circumstance? How do you feel about it? So tell me a little bit more.
Well, it started actually when I had my kids. I have two kids now. They are 15 and 17. And in the first 5 years, so that means 7 years, when both were then 5 years, I didn't want to travel, because for me, I think this time cannot come back. And I really wanted to do it. And actually, I have a husband who is not home, or was not home very much, because he's self-employed, and there was nobody, and I have no family that could take care of my kids. So in the beginning, it wasn't possible for me. And then I'm not so happy to teach 12 or 16 hours. I mean, I love teaching, but 6-8 lessons a day is enough for me. So maybe that's the reason. I have also many other interests, and I like doing different things. So judging is okay for me, but I have to choose wisely, because I cannot just go for judging every weekend and never be at home. Then sometimes I also would like to teach. I can't do everything. And for me, it's nice to do many things. Otherwise I get bored.
Okay. So you are quite, it's actually almost a conscious decision, for you to do less of this, so that you make time for doing other things and your other interests as well.
Well, not completely, because when I was out like for 7 years, people forgot, of course, that I'm here. So I didn't have any invitations, of course. No, actually, now that they are taller and they can be more alone, I'm quite happy to get out again, because I did miss it. In the beginning, I didn't miss it so much, because sometimes, when you become a mom, this dance world looks a bit crazy, because you are so down to earth suddenly, and I was quite happy with everything I had. But after a while, I thought, wow, I'm losing myself, because I have something to give, and I consider myself a good teacher that can help people, like many other teachers as well, of course. But when I come out of a lesson, I'm happy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how you can measure what is good for you. Yeah? If it lifts you up, it's good for you. And I'm always happy when I was teaching, just not as much.
Yes, not the crazy days, because you still want to come home and have a family life. I'm talking to quite many women and girls generally, and this is a common, I think, situation when someone retires, builds a family, has a baby, 2 babies, children, whatever. It's quite difficult to come back, especially if you don't live in the middle of it. If you don't live, say, I don't know, in England or in a big dance country like Russia or Ukraine, where it's a little bit easier because there are a lot of competitions every weekend and you can still be with the family and be able to judge a day or whatever, a month. But yeah, it's quite a difficult, I think, question in a way. Yeah, how can we make sure that these women who are very talented and capable and knowledgeable are not getting sort of lost within the system just because you actually decide to have a family? This applies to all professions, of course, but I think particularly so to dancing. So this will be interesting to think about, I think, for everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think it's no problem if you really concentrate. You attract what you concentrate on, and if you really want something, it will be okay.
That's true. So, can you describe yourself as a teacher and tell me a little bit about your teaching and what you are passionate about?
Yes, I believe strongly that a good technique gives you freedom. That's, I think, my most important belief, because only when you are sure what you're doing, you can relax your mind, and you have the freedom to show who you are. Because if you have no balance, if you can't produce volume, if you can't produce rhythm, how can you express what you feel? So that's very important to me. And then rhythm and timing, body rhythm. Most important for me is that every movement in arms and legs come from the body. Of course, it depends who you teach. Yes, some people are further, and then it comes in the end, of course, to make it your dance. Yeah? What is your message? Which is actually the nicer work, because teaching a rumba walk in 2 tracks and how to get body rhythm is quite boring for me in a way, because I'm telling the same all the time. But I really believe until you can't do this, you can't go further, or not much further. So then it comes to your message and your feelings. And then, of course, teaching is much nicer for me too.
Okay. But what about when you are judging? Do you feel that you're looking at it from the same point of view, or are you looking for something different when you are actually standing there at the competition and watching the couples compete?
Yeah, I'm not looking for technique. For me, beauty and harmony is created through a good technique.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking for is music. That's number one, because normally when you judge, you stand behind the box, yeah, and hear the music, and then you see many people not listening to the music. So I'm picking the ones who have body rhythm first, I think, and where I have the feeling that the feet are matching the music somehow. That's number one. And then, yes, I like things like partnering. I like when the whole dance is authentic. If, many times when I look at judging, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed what people can do, which I never could do. Yeah, leg up, down, jump, left, right. It's amazing. But I'm looking basically for the ones that touch me. But that, of course, is more in the finals, semifinals. Yes. But in the first rounds, I'm trying to look who is with the music, and who is not just running around crazy in big steps. Yes, yeah. I'm looking for beauty. Yeah. And beauty means for me harmony. Also in the couple. Yes. I think it's very difficult, because some couples, the man is really great and the girl isn't, or vice versa. So it's really hard judging.
Yeah, it's really hard, because you have to make this decision. What's more important? This or that, or this? Yeah. It's quite difficult. Okay. Recently you posted the video online with the samba rhythms and timings, the explanation of the basic timings and the rhythms. And thank you for doing that. It was very useful, and I think it's very useful for many people, but it got a very big response, I think. Yeah, I saw it was a lot of comments, it was a lot of reposts. Can you tell me, did you expect that? Because I was rather surprised, not in the sense of that I think it's not important. I think it's very important, but it feels like it's not as interesting nowadays to the couples. It's not being taught as much. It's not being talked about as much. What do you think? Do you think there is a maybe a return to the hunger for this kind of knowledge nowadays? That would be a great thing, I think. But what do you think?
It's difficult for me to say, because the people who have booked lessons with me, they know, I think they know what they will get, and they are always interested in that. And there are many times they are also surprised how much information there can be. Yes? But I was the same when I had my first lesson with Walter Laird, exactly about this. I thought, to be honest, this crazy old man, what is he talking about? And many times afterwards, I said, I'm sorry, because I didn't understand what I couldn't see, what you see.
Yes.
But I think many people feel that it's important without maybe knowing why. But many people see also that samba is a dance that is not really much different from cha-cha nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And many people see there is something missing. And I think it's an instinct again. That's why many people would say, wow,
searching for this information maybe as well. Yeah.
I think so, yes.
Great.
But actually, when my experience is that many people know these things. When I ask them, they heard it, yes, they heard it, but they don't practice it.
Yeah.
So, and actually that's why I did this video, because I think this is one of the most important things. And wherever I go, I'm mostly teaching. When they ask for samba, I teach this. When they ask for rumba, I teach, or cha-cha, I teach 2 and 3 lines, because I think this is the biggest problem in the moment. Everybody is walking on one line. There's no volume, no space in the movement, and they are trying to get more and more movement. And in my opinion, you can't when you are in one line. And they are struggling and getting very stiff, trying to do more. And I feel sorry, because they are looking for a good feeling. And if you don't do the things, you will not have a free feeling.
Okay.
So
what advice would you give to the dancers nowadays, maybe younger dancers, based on your experience? Is there anything you would like to say to them?
Well, what I would definitely do different is find somebody who teaches me to hear myself. Yes, what is my opinion? Yes, and like after I did this dancing, after my career, I did a lot in training my senses, and it's not easy. Everybody can do it, and it makes your decisions much easier. So to get somebody to help you to find your personality off the dancing, out of the dancing, is to teach somebody who teaches you how to find yourself. And then I think when you found yourself privately, you can put it on the floor. And you find the good teacher, you will find the good partner. Everything is easier when you learn how to perceive your own voice.
Yeah, that is very interesting, and I think very important as well. Also to be your own personality, and not something that someone else sees you as, perhaps. This is very important.
Yes. To be aware that you can create your personality. You decide who you are and who you want to become. Or for me, everything is a spiritual question anyway, because it's only about remembering that we are perfect, and how can we show our gift that we have. Everybody has a gift, but we don't dare to show it, because we can't perceive it. We are so much in our head, and I think bringing heart and head together, that's a very good idea to be successful anywhere, dancing.
So how did you discover that? How did you explore that? And how did you find the interest in that area?
Well, actually, it was always there.
Okay.
I remember now that when people said, wow, you were a champion and this and this and this, I always thought, yeah, but it's just dancing. I would like to heal millions of people. Okay. That was always something. And then I didn't know why I would say that. And then, after when I had more time, I did a lot of seminars and stuff like this. And I went to school to become a medium and a healer. And that was changing everything completely, because it opens your view so much more, and you can hear more than before, you can see more than before. That's if you can find something like this, do it, because it will change your life.
Oh, okay. What do you consider to have been your biggest success in dancing? If there is any one moment, any one event, what do you remember as the most, the moment where you felt most accomplished and successful?
It wasn't the Worlds, because after the Worlds, I was just happy it's over and we did it, what everybody thought we should do.
Yeah.
I was not happy, so this was not the most happiest moment. There were moments in funny competitions, nothing special, that I felt I'm in the flow, So I was so happy, but it's not an event or something like this. Not really. Sometimes I thought, now I'm in heaven, during a rumba or during a samba. Not really, because also the winning part, I mean, of course I liked winning and stuff like this, but this was never so important to me.
Okay.
So I can't really say which one was a special one. We always had fun, because the best things were the parties afterwards.
Okay.
I just enjoyed the whole thing, the traveling, it was a great life.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's really interesting, because you were so successful and you could have said any competition, any win, I'm sure you had some expected and some unexpected maybe results as in success in that sense, but still it's not the one result or three results. It's the feeling of yourself in the moment, that you actually are connected rather to the moment rather than to holding the cup in your hand or whatever it is. I think this is really beautiful, really nice. And what do you, in that sense, consider then your biggest personal success up to date?
My biggest personal success, I would say that I come to a point where it doesn't matter to me what other people think. And since I feel that, I mean, it's not 365 days per year, but a lot of times, because that wasn't so when I was dancing. And I think dancing was meant to be for me to learn that, to show yourself on the floor. And really only when I was dancing, only the last year of my career, I felt good. I felt good myself, and I know why I was dancing, because I was giving something to other people, and that was I could make them laugh. I could make with the segues, yes, I could make them cry, and sending this energy was great. And then I kept on doing this, because I thought, wow, that's a different kind of Bianka, yes. And I wanted to have more of that feeling that I don't give a shit about anything, It's I say what I want, I do what I want, I look how I want, and I think that's freedom.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate reward, or that's the most rewarding feeling, right? That you're just, you're doing what you want, and as long as you're happy with what you're doing, that is the real big satisfaction, I guess.
I mean, I'm not at the end. I still have things, yes. Like my husband, for example, he is very, very brave, and I'm still impressed. And I'm learning this, to every little thing that I'm still afraid of, to say, no, I'm being afraid is no good. I have to go through. And then it's little things. And I love doing that, because every time I feel I'm growing, and that's great.
It's challenging as well for yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So finally, just the last question. I saw also on Facebook, you were writing about it, that you have found a diet, or not a diet. You look great. You've lost a lot of weight. And I think a lot of people maybe want to hear about it. And I'm in the same boat, especially after the quarantine. I think it will be particularly interesting to people.
Yes, yes.
If
Well,
it's
I
not.
was very happy because after I had the children, I had mainly, I think, 20 kilos too much, and I couldn't lose them. And I did many things, and I wasn't really eating a lot, not that much, yeah. And then menopause, you put on another kilos, and I was very unhappy about that. And I always felt that's not me. It's not me. So I was keeping looking, and this teacher actually from the healing and medium school, she told me about it, and it's a reset of metabolism, and it changes the system in your hypothalamus, and it has the effect that your fat cells open, and you lose the fat out of the cells. And I didn't believe it in the beginning.
Okay.
Did it, and I thought, wow, I've never seen something like this. And now I passed it on to, I think, 30 people. I'm sending a video for free, of course.
Everyone will be so slim after the quarantine following your diet.
But I must say, this is not for people who want to lose 5 kilos. That's not you. If you have more, then it's worth to do it.
Was it hard?
No, that's the point.
Really?
Because of these supplements you take, really high quality supplements, you eat only 500 to 700 calories for certain times, but at the same time you eat your own fat cells. Yes, you have up to 3,000 calories, so you're never hungry, you never have a bad mood. It's really easy to do, and I feel better than ever.
And do you feel it's also possible to maintain it, or do you still do it to a degree? Maybe not as much, but yeah, how does it?
I did it only for 3 months. Well, altogether 3 months, and now I'm eating a little bit different. I don't eat bread. I don't eat so much pasta, and there's also ways to not take so much carbohydrate. Yes, carbohydrate. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, there is some tricks that you can do that you don't take those things into your body so much. For example, if you like pasta, it's better to cook them, cool them down, and heat them again.
Okay.
Yes, and also with a potato, it's the same, because I don't know what you call it in English, but there is something inside.
Starch, maybe. Starch, could it be?
Yes, that's the one. That is gone, and then your insulin doesn't go high after you eat it. So the insulin is more in one level. That's something like this. And I eat a little bit different, but it's not. Yesterday we had mousse au chocolat, so it's working without. Because it's changing the set point really, and then I'm always around the set point now.
Okay. Interesting. I hope that you will not have 150 requests for the detail about your diet after this, and that's the only thing you will be doing, replying to people.
I already had a lot, but that's why I did a private video and I sent it out. If you send me your email, I will send you the video and you can try it.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for sharing your answers with us. I'm sure a lot of people will be very interested in hearing what you have to say, and thank you for giving the time for this, and I hope that you will stay healthy, and I hope the quarantine is soon over so we can see you somewhere whenever the competition starts very soon.
I thank you very much. Nice if somebody is interested in other people, because I really enjoy your interviews, because you never get to know people, and that's great. I think very nice.
Yeah. For me, it's always an interest what is actually behind someone that I see dancing on the floor, then videos or whatever it is. For me, it's important also what kind of person you are. So that's why I wanted to do it. So thank you very much. And
thank you.
Like I said, I hope I see you soon. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.